There is a difference between being defeated and just getting your ass whooped. Now, I heard somebody say this earlier when I was driving, just listening to content, and I couldn't believe how much in alignment with some of the decisions that I've made that statement is. Because there's been plenty of times that I have confused being defeated with getting my ass whooped. And I want to share some of that with you and share the differences of why it's important. You see, there was a time before the job I have now, I was a data analyst at a different company. And be honest, I worked really, really hard when I was at this company. In short, I was getting my ass whooped. I worked long hours. I rarely said no to anything that was asked of me. And quite frankly, for some periods of time, I felt like I was underpaid for the amount of work that I was doing. And after several years, not several years, but after a few years of this, I felt like I just had enough. I was spent. I was just dog tired. Now, I was getting my ass whooped. But at that time, this is about 2018, end of 2018, started 2019, I felt defeated. So instead of going to get another job, I decided, bear with me here, I decided I'm just going to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go do this somewhere else anymore because I'm just done with the whole thing. Now, luckily, we've always been very financially frugal. So we could live on one income. My wife was still working. And we also had thought that around that time, like in the next few years, there's going to probably come a time where we're going to want to have a kid. And I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home dad. At least at that time I did. And when we did have a kid, I was a stay-at-home dad for the first few years of my kid's life. Now, looking back, I would not undo any of the decisions that I made. I made great friends during that time. When I streamed on Twitch and made content, lifelong friends, a great time. But I think most people who streamed during the 2020, the 2019 to 2021 era will tell you most of those people were doing it either because of COVID or because they were running from some shit. And that was the reason I was doing it. I'll be really honest about it. Looking back, streaming was not something that I think I could ever do long term. I can make content, but streaming and like entertaining people in real time live, nah, that's not something that I personally am interested in doing. At least not today. So the point of me bringing that up is because at the time I didn't realize I was just getting my ass whooped. And because the reason I didn't recognize that was because I was not used to getting my ass whooped. And I think this is pertinent to most people in America, especially most men. A lot of us confuse ass whoopings with defeat because we're so unused to getting our ass whooped. And a lot of that has to do with the world we live in. We have been conditioned in a lot of ways to feel like the world owes us something. So even small slights, things that are a normal part of our process of growing, we take to be insults. And when life gets hard, it makes us want to, instead of going through, right, going straight through and finding a way to make things better, we turn around, we quit. That is what we've been conditioned to do because we've been convinced that a certain portion of our life shouldn't be as hard as it is. But the reality is life is hard. And if you had asked me at that time, I would have probably told you something along the lines of, I don't deserve to be treated in the way that I'm treated, right? And really, I wasn't treated poorly. I was just being asked to do a lot because that's what jobs that have high expectations do. They expect you to do a lot. And I was doing it right up until I mentally couldn't do it anymore. But that was because it was a me problem. I don't want to say I was weak, but I didn't have the knowledge to know that my circumstances could change if I just had the gumption to say, all right, this is what I need to change so that I can continue to move forward. And so many of us miss that. We miss the lesson in the ass whooping because we confuse it for defeat. The reality is we live in America, the greatest country with the most diverse groups of people in the world. There's very few people in this country who are truly defeated. There's almost no such thing in this country, which is insane to say. But we always have options. They might not be options that we like, but we always have them. We always have some option that will get us through to the next stage in our life that we want to be in, if we so choose to put the work in. They might not be fun, they might not be convenient, but we have options. And I bring that up because I think a lot of people, just think about, again, I'll go back to men. If you look on the internet today, there's a lot of conversations about men versus women. And the women are saying that men ain't shit, the men are saying women ain't shit, and each group is just done with the other person. Now, when men, are you really gonna throw away a whole gender because you have had bad experiences with women? Because let me tell you, when you do shit like that, you sound just like the women you say you don't like. When you hear women say men aren't shit, most of us think, no, it's just the men you deal with aren't shit, right? Because you couldn't possibly speak for a whole gender. It's the same thing with the men, bro. You are attracting shitty women, and that's a reflection on you. So often, we do not look ourselves in the mirror and just tell ourselves the truth. We have to fix us. And that's what I didn't realize. That's why I'm bringing this to you, because I wish I had known back then how free I actually was. I didn't see it because I felt like I needed to fit in a box that the world said that the life needs to fit in. And if the parts of my life didn't fit in the box, I felt like I was doing something wrong. The reality is, life is just this fucking blob, bro. There's no shape to this shit. We are constructing it as we go. So don't try to fit shit in the box. Fuck the box. You and your life are what you make it. That's all there is to this. Really, that's all there is to this. And the more you recognize that you directly impact the things that go on around you, the better your life's going to become faster. But if you give more people outside of you power over how your life goes, you're always going to be pissed about something. Always. Now, that's not to say that there aren't going to be things in the world that are going to piss you off. There are. But again, that's the ass whooping. And just take it as a lesson. And so that when you get back up after getting your ass whooped, you say, all right, how can I make it so that I don't get my ass whooped again? Right? And that could be self-improvement. That can be, looking for, with the women's situation, that could be, looking for different types of women, changing your behavior so that you don't attract women who don't want and value the things that you value. There's lots of things that you can do to change your circumstances. But we have to be willing to make the change, and we have to be willing to take ownership and responsibility of the change, and recognizing that if we don't get the outcomes we want, the only person that's going to change it is us. We can't look outside of us to get results for us. It's on us. That's all there is to it. And I think the reason that resonated with me so much this morning was because I also had another situation this week where I had an ass whooping, but I had learned from it and I just handled it. So I'll give you another example from this week. The car I'm sitting in right now, I do pizza deliveries in this car. On Monday night, I was doing pizza deliveries. I stepped on the brake. Nasty grinding noise. Just gross. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Wednesday morning, I take it in. They look at it Wednesday afternoon. They call me and they're like, hey, it is the brakes. Something is wrong with the brakes, but it's not just the brake pads. It's the calipers too. That's all got to be. That's got to be, all cleaned out, replaced, whatever he said. It's gonna be about $800. All right. Now, think about this. In January, I started this extra job, right? The second job, delivering pizzas. And I didn't work the whole month because I started mid-month, late month. But I made, in that late last couple weeks, I made about $1,300, right? Extra money above what we were already saving. Now I'm being hit with an $800 bill that had nothing to do with me driving deliveries. Honestly, like, it's just normal wear and tear corrosion because this car is old. So now I'm like, all right, $800 down the drain. I gave myself that one night to be upset about it. And when he called me, I said, just take care of it. I picked the car up that night, delivered pizzas, made another couple $100. That night, I let myself be upset about it. Next night, back to it. Back to it. I got my ass whooped, and I got back up. But again, the lesson was, we need to be prepared for maintenance. And I was prepared, because I know I'm driving an old car. It's got 234,000 miles on it. I better be prepared for some maintenance. The lesson was, things are going to happen. Be prepared. Be prepared. It's just an ass whooping, man. This is a part of life. Be prepared to get your ass kicked sometimes. Smile. Thank you for the ass whooping, life. I'll see you when I get back up. Don't worry about it. I got it. I got it. But think about how that would be for the average American today, right? We know the average American doesn't have $1,000 to their name. When you don't have $1,000 to your name and you're only working 40 hours a week, an $800 bill feels like defeat. But see, you have to be able to see it for what it is. It's temporary. And if you're willing to do the work, maybe work more than 40 hours, put in more time, do less fun shit, and that 800 can become something very small. And in my world today, it's very small. It's a very small part of my life. There was a time where $800 would have crippled me. But because we've been putting in the work every day, learning from the ass whoopings, $800 is a small thing now. Small thing. And we just keep pushing. So again, I just wanted to share that with you because there's so much about my life, and I'm sure I'll think of more examples as I go today. There's so many things that pertains to. Just know the difference, recognize the difference. And every time you have a hard time with something, just ask yourself, am I truly defeated, or is this just one of life's ass whoopings that I can learn from? And just take a lesson from it, because this shit's not going to get any more easy. Life is always going to be dealing with your ass whoopings, bro. Like, it's going to happen. So just be prepared and learn from it. All right, that's all I got. I'll talk to y'all later.